Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome back to the Blind Press YouTube channel and coffee stream number 124. And it's finally warming up here. And when I say warming up, I mean for you Americans, it's like 35, 36 degrees. We in Canada here find that after a winter that is warm, especially when the sun is out and there's no clouds in the sky. It's great. Um, so it's a great day, nice and sunny. I hope everyone's having a good day and had a good morning. Got my coffee here, got my stories all ready. Let's say hello to chat here. I see all you need in chat. Hello, all you need. I see Gun Fox. Let's see. Blind Press, are you sure you're ready for this? Says Gun Fox. Who knows? Wait. All you need says just watching. What? Oh, just watch Big Cliff electrocute himself. Why? Oh, popping up. Hello. Peter Almond. Hello. Um, Hi, Chadwick. Hope your boss doesn't need you to save him today. Hope you can actually come in and hang out with us for a bit. Um, let's see here. I just want to say before we get into the news, I hate the new YouTube studio. I was trying to set up the stream this morning, and I could not find the regular way to set it up. I had to click on that stupid YouTube Studio beta and then go and then click the classic button in order to get to find the actual live stream link and then the event link. It was just ridiculous. I I do not like the new setup of the YouTube studio at all. Let's see. We have to work all night. He's in bed. Oh, that's good and bad at the same time, I think, I guess. Um, so I've got 10 stories for you today. Good amount. Gunfox dropped a whole bunch in the Discord. I didn't get to them all, but I'm sure that there will be enough to cover us. So let's see here. Oh, Seamus, hello. Um, oh, he was working below 15 milliamps. Okay, so he was just trying to see what would happen? Is that what's going on? All you need? This guy was trying to see what would happen if he electrocuted himself? I'm confused. I've been electrocuted because the outlets in my old house were really wonky, and I was trying to plug something in, and my finger brushed the outlet and it zapped me. Um, and that was my extent of my foray into the world of electrocution. So let's go into the DMs here where I have sent the news articles for the day. Wonder why my throat is all scratchy today. Weird. How odd. The air is rather dry in here. This is what I hate about winter in Canada. You got to keep everything shut up and cold and closed, and you've got your furnace going and all right. Oh, Richard Morrow, I hope you are having an enjoyable lunch break. Okay, he was demonstrating how many milliamps you could still release through the wire. Okay. I understand. While I'm diving into my DMs, please like and share the stream if you have not done so already. Oh, I must have screwed up the password. Oh, what the did I screw up my username? I did. I did screw up my username. Silly, silly me. Now, what was I saying? Oh yes, please like and share the stream if you haven't done so already, especially since YouTube no longer notifies people on your Twitter when you are streaming. And also there is a Streamlabs link in the description. If you are of a mind, please consider clicking and donating to that link. It helps a blind girl out very, very much. It is very appreciated. Which story do we have first? I think we'll go like we did yesterday, and we'll go from the stories. We'll go kind of backwards instead of from the one that I sent myself soonest. Let's see. Oh, I even found one that Scribe retweeted. So we'll get to that one. I think that'll be the last story. And I feel a sneeze coming and my mute button is not available. Let's see if I can either make it go away or make it happen quietly. Oh, it seems like it's going away. All right. That's even better. Okay. Story. The first story is going to be one that Pincalo sent me last night about one of our old prime ministers. All right, where is it here? Here it is. Brian Mulroney apologizes for referring to Ontario MPP, that's member of provincial parliament, as a little girl. This is going to be interesting. Nothing like a shocking effect. Yeah, I know, right, Gunfox? He got it up to 12.6 milliamps and called it quits. Probably a good idea. All right, load please, webpage. That's a good webpage. Well, if the shoe fits, says Chadwick. Yeah, I know, right? Oh my god, the fact that so many are denouncing his comments is a good sign for women in politics. Ugh. What a ridiculous statement. And of course, it's written by a woman. Come on, links. Fuck off. I just want the story. Okay, here we go. Oh, why is my nose all stuffed up all of a sudden? It was not like this before the stream. Body, you suck.
Toronto, former Prime Minister Brian Mulroney apologized Monday for using the term little girl to refer to an Ontario politician who left the Progressive Conservative caucus over cuts to francophone services.
Oh, that chick. He called that chick a little girl. Well, honestly, yeah, she was being a little girl. She was being a whiny child. Churchy McBiscuit says, never apologize. Once there's blood in the water, they will always attack. Yep. His comment had nothing to do with women. No, it did not. You could hear in his voice as he slowly bumped up the charge. The anticipation. Let's see. The anticipation. And then the cussing as the power. Wait, and then the cussing as the power was released? Or tuned, and then the cussing as the probe went out. Or arced and went out. Oh, he was talking to a woman? Oh, I thought he was talking to another dude. No. He was not.
Mulroney appeared Sunday night on Radio Canada's Tout Le Monde en Parle and defended
Tout le monde
his daughter Caroline Mulroney, Ontario's Attorney General and Francophone Affairs Minister. She is the best voice that Ontario Francophones could ever have.
Let's hear that again.
Mulroney appeared Sunday night on Radio Canada's Tout Le Monde en Parle and defended his daughter Caroline Mulroney, Ontario's Attorney General and Francophone Affairs Minister.
Yes, his daughter. His daughter is the Francophone Affairs Minister for Ontario. Tout le monde en parle means everyone is talking, basically. That's a basic loose French translation. Everyone is talking. Or we are all talking. Then what's the issue? So the issue is he called her. Yeah, everyone is talking about it. Thanks, all you need. It's so he called this member of provincial parliament a little girl because she resigned over cuts to francophone services in Ontario, and the way she described these cuts as she resigned was basically that the way she described it was that Ford was ending all French services in Ontario, and it just was totally not what was going on.
She is the best voice that Ontario Francophones could ever have, believe me, the former Prime Minister said in French. The little girl who resigned, she has left. That's over. But Caroline is still there to defend the interests of Ontario Francophones.
Oh, come on. That's all that he said? She was being a little girl. She was being... I mean, if you have issues with cuts that are going on and you are in a cabinet position or a member of provincial parliament position, your first instinct should not be to resign. It should be to do what you can for your constituents to try and convince those above you to change that position. Your first instinct should not be, oh, fine, I'm done. I didn't want to be here anyway. Sophane's about to get the savage hour on Twitter. Oh. Yeah. Yeah. I can see why, Gunfox. I've been reading a few of his tweet threads. So, yeah.
Brian Mulroney apologized the next day, saying he used the French expression petite fille, translated as little girl, while speaking about Amanda Simard when he should have said young woman. You are
le petite fille. The little girl. He's no. There's a difference between in French, la petite fille is still the little girl. If you're gonna say a young woman, you say la jeune fille, or la mademoiselle, or you there. He's been in politics and bilingual enough to know the difference. He said little girl. Own it. Hi, fishing guy. Hi, cracked. I hate cross. What? Fuck. Oh, fuck. I hate CrossFit gyms. I swear they can smell the meat on you. They're like, get away from me, you carnivore. Oh, God. Is that where you had to do a drop, Pinkalo? If I was you, I'd walk in there with a ham sandwich in my mouth, says Gunfox. To you, Pinkalo. Hi, Alan. So the French, or Alan says, so the French are cowards even in Canada? That little girl is my MPP, and she is not liked by the locals who feel that she betrayed them. Yep, because her first instinct was to fuck off. Her first instinct was to get angry, and instead of try to change the minds of those in power above her, her first instinct was to throw up her hands and throw a fucking temper tantrum and virtue signal and basically say, fuck my constituents. CrossFit is a cult. Yes, RVA, Pinkalo and I would completely agree with you. Yes, and I think it was a woman that signed for the package, I think. It's ma'am. Oh, God. I wouldn't say that in Quebec if I were you. They like to drink and fight. Yeah, the French Canadians are much more like the Scots. They are not cowards at all. Like if you look back at a lot of the Canadian contingents, regiments, blind press, regiments, god damn you. If you look at a lot of the Canadian regiments in the First and Second World Wars, you'll see a lot of farmers and a lot of French Canadians and a lot of Newfoundlanders. If I had a guy do that to me, I would have him out on the street with him beating my fist with his face. Churchy says, as much as I don't like some of the people from Quebec and can talk too much crap, some of them are really good people. My dad worked with some. Yeah, some of them can be absolutely ridiculous. Some of them, though, are just absolutely amazing people. I can't tell you how many fights I've had to avoid, and I'm one of them. Oh, okay, makes sense now. Damn, I want to join in the shenanigans, says Seamus. Yeah, French Canadians know how to have a good time. We sure do know how to cut loose. Actually, most people in Ontario are jealous of how late the bars can stay open in Quebec, in Montreal especially. Notice that the French national flag is white. Yes, the France French. My grandfather was Quebecois and fought with the Americans in World War I to gain citizenship. Oh, that's a cool piece of family history. All right, what else does this story have to say?
I had no intention of insulting anyone with this poor choice of words and would like to offer my sincere apologies, he said in a statement.
Now, I might be able to buy it because he's an stupid nose. He is a primarily English-speaking person, but he is supposed to be bilingual. All politicians are supposed to be bilingual, especially in Ontario and Quebec. I don't buy it. I think he meant to say it, but I don't think that he was wrong. I think that she completely acted like a child. I am half Portuguese, and the majority of my mother's family is Montreal and Quebec. So yeah, I'll still call them all pussies, says Ben Colo. Well, fine. That is why I loved living in Ottawa. Yeah, Ottawa is great. Because you can hop over the border, you can go drink in Ho until like 3 in the morning, and then you can go home in a cab. Always in a cab.
See also.
Okay. Is that the end of that story?
Earlier Monday, Simard addressed the comments on Twitter, writing that Mulroney was attempting to defend his daughter, who completely abandoned Franco-Ontarians. You are currently on a text element.
Bitch, you completely abandoned Franco-Ontarians. You abandoned your constituents by throwing up your hands and taking your ball and going home. What are you talking about? Wow. Not anymore. Border bars are closed at 2 a.m. Oh, fuck off. That sucks. Mulroney is from the Beauce region of Quebec. Yeah, I think I knew he was from Quebec. Both sides, though. Okay. That still sucks.
He has done great things for Canada, but his comments belong to another era and have no place in a respectful and egalitarian society, Simard wrote.
What great things has Mulroney done for Canada? Can you find those for me, please? Anyone? certainly wasn't birthing Ben. That certainly wasn't a great thing for Canada. What else? What else did he do that was great for Canada? Screw up the Meech Lake Accord? Let's see. What else did he do? I really don't. I can't think of anything great that Brian Mulroney did for Canada. I really.
After question period Monday at the Ontario legislature, Simard further said that one positive to emerge from the incident was that people were overwhelmingly condemning the remark. The fact that so many people are denouncing his comments is encouraging for women in politics, she said. I think we need to support women in politics and not retort to those types of name calling.
They do support women in politics. You are in politics, you fucking crazy bitch. There are women in politics. What are you talking about? We need to support women in politics, and this is really encouraging. Well, you know what? There are women in politics. Isn't that amazing? I work in bars on the Quebec side, says all you need. 1:30 and a fight is sure to break out. That's why the laws were enacted. Okay. Yeah. They want to bring it back, though. 3 a.m. closing. Oh, blind was the GST. Oh, wait, never mind. Yeah, I know. She's just being a little girl. Yes, she is. She's being an incredibly little girl.
Caroline Mulroney did not answer questions after question period. Simard was elected last year at the age of 29 to represent the largely French-speaking Eastern Ontario riding of Glengarry Prescott Russell. You are currently...
Oh, look, she's even a little girl in politician years. She's my age. Fuck.
Ontario MPP Amanda Simard said Brian Mulroney's comments belong to another era. Antonella Artuso/Toronto Sun. Ontario MPP Amanda Simard said Brian Mulroney's comments belong to another era. End of. She left the Tory caucus in the wake of the government's decision to eliminate the independent office of the French Language Services Commissioner and scrap a planned French language university. 36% loaded.
So what she did was she's still an MPP for her riding, but she left the cabinet, or she left the caucus. So she's still... So she's not there. It's like she's not part of the caucus anymore. She's an independent. So she has no say in the Conservative caucus. And
42% loaded.
Shut up. And yeah, also 18 drinking age. Yep. She's an independent member of parliament. So now she has a member of provincial parliament, I should say. So now she's got no say in the Conservative riding that her constituents fucking elected and voted for. And she's got no, she's basically made herself a lame duck member of provincial parliament who cannot do anything for her constituents because she wanted to virtue signal. That's all that this is. She is now a lame duck member of provincial parliament because she wanted to virtue signal over the closing of one French university. Or no, not even the closing of. Scrapping of the plans to build a French-speaking university. Because quite honestly, Ontario cannot afford that right now.
After an outcry from Franco-Ontarians, the government announced it would create a commissioner position within the Office of the Provincial Ombudsman, establish a Ministry of Francophone Affairs and hire a senior policy advisor on Francophone Affairs in the Premier's office. But Simard said she was not satisfied by the partial backtracking on the cuts.
Seriously, that's a big, that's creating at least 3 different very highly paid positions, and you've got a Ministry of Francophone Affairs created, and you're still not satisfied? Yep. You are truly une petite fille.
Premier Doug Ford has said the measures regarding the commissioner and the university were necessary to bring down the province's deficit, although he has not said how much would be saved. Brian Mulroney told Tout Le Monde on Parle that Ford was elected to trim the deficit and debt. You are currently on it, so it took cuts, changes of attitude, etc., and everyone was affected, including the Franco-Ontarians, he said. But it has been barely a year that Caroline is there. You are going to see what link. Link. 3 comments join the conversation right there. Oh.
Yeah, this is, so it's barely been a year that this government's been in place. The true liberal cries out in pain as they slap you. Yes. Yes, they do. Yes, they do. Okay, next story. Some states aiming to change how presidents get chosen. Speaking of the Electoral College, there, Gunfox. Oh, Richard Morrow says Pinkala watched her run for the Liberals in the next election. I would not be surprised. All right, here we go. Let's read about how some states are looking to get rid of the Electoral College. It's so stupid. Okay. Here we go.
Alan Cowan, could our next president be chosen by the popular vote instead of the Electoral College? It's the goal of a number of states that are joining an alliance to change the system.
Of course it is.
In 2 of the last 5 presidential elections, the candidate who won the popular vote lost the presidency.
Good. That's a good thing. None of the world would have benefited from those people being president. The left will use any means to win, says Gunfox. Yeah. Huh. Charge the sole site coordinate for her office. Yep.
That has prompted more than a dozen states and the District of Columbia to try to change the system.
Wait, really? The DC is in on this?
For swing states like Pennsylvania, it would mean fewer visits from presidential candidates. Delaware is the latest to join a compact of 14 states and the District of Columbia, hoping to give their electoral votes to the winner of the popular vote in future presidential elections.
Okay. Why? And how is this moving along? Like what do these states intend to do by forming this alliance? Yell at Congress until they get what they want? I'm confused.
Right now, the alliance has 189 of the 270 electoral votes needed to make the change happen.
Oh, I see what they're doing.
Third party act. The winner of the popular vote lost the presidency 5 times in presidential election history, most recently in 2000 and 2016 when a Democrat won the popular vote but did not become president.
Yes, and had Al Gore become president and had Hillary Clinton become president, we would be in a very different place right now. You haven't seen me in here. Hi, Reason Vision. Have a great day at work, Richard. Thanks for popping in. Oh dear, sneezing. Or, as I should say, oh hey, Irate. If Hillary was president, we would all be glowing right now, says Chadwick. Yeah. Because they want to rule over middle America, who aren't as population dense, says Thoughts from the Dryer. Yeah, that's a pretty good guess. This is how the Republic will die, says Seamus Darby. Yeah, it's a good guess, good bet. Blind Press, it's a step towards eliminating the Electoral College's function. In a sense, essentially nullifying the votes of the people that live in lower population areas. Yeah. It's pretty scary.
Political experts say it almost happened to Republicans in 2004 when President George W. Bush won Ohio by a margin of only 50,000 votes. Dr. Chris Borick with Muhlenberg College says alliance states believe it will make elections more reflective of the will of the people and more competitive because candidates will be vying for every vote in every state.
Okay.
There are lots of states that get very, very few visits because they are seen as safe states for one party or the other, Borick said. Borick says while many states are talking about changing the way they allocate their electoral votes, it's doubtful it will happen before the 2020 presidential election.
So are you saying that you think that this is, so you're trying to get more presidential people to come and tour all 50 states and vie for your vote like they okay, so you want a Canadian style campaign. Do you know how much that would cost for you assholes? Seriously. You think, okay, Canada is huge, all right? But we only have 10 provinces to go to because we're so big. And those provinces generally have have main cities that most people live in and go to. And these politicians, will sometimes go up to the more remote parts of the provinces as well. But these campaigns up here are fairly costly, but there's not very many people for them to see in comparison to you guys. You expect the candidates for presidency to tour every state and basically try and win the vote of all the voting age Americans, which is gotta be somewhere over close to 200 million people. And so where is the money going to come from to fund a campaign like that? My history teacher predicted this back in 2001 that the system was going to change in a way that would hurt the country in itself, says Pincalo. Well, your history teacher was a smart man. That will never happen if they go for the popular vote. They will go where the population is. Yeah. Not every state, I guarantee you, they will only focus on the 9 big ones. Well, then that's not really, for them even, that's not really the popular vote. The Republic will only die when she only has no one, when she no longer has anyone willing to defend her. Oh, Data Wasteland, hello. What's good for the city isn't good for everyone else. I can't believe people are this dumb not to realize that not everyone lives in this city. Yeah. This is crazy. It would be because that's where the majority of our population is located. It would cost millions, says Fishing Guy. Yep.
He says swing states like Pennsylvania, Florida, and Ohio that can make or break an election will likely be the last to sign on. Your third party act, part of it is that the current system benefits them in a lot of ways because they are the ones that get the attention and there is focus on the states, Boric said. Boric says it could take a few more cases of a candidate winning the popular vote but losing the presidency before the alliance gets enough states to make the change.
Okay, so you guys are bitching that twice in the last 5 elections and 5 times in the history of elections, the Electoral College has made it so that the popular vote is not the winning vote. That's a total of, so two times in the last 5 elections and 5 times in history. So you're telling me that out of 45 presidents, 5 of them have not been elected via the popular vote, and that's a problem for you? You realize that that is a very good percentage of success rate for the Electoral College. Also, the popular vote is not based on whether or not they go out and do rallies. It is based on the popular vote is based on the media, so they're trying to have the media control the elections. Yep. Silly blind. silly blind. The Electoral College was a genius concept, says Irate. Yeah. The people that bought and own our government pick the red and Dem, or pick the Republicans and Dems to be president. We just vote and pick so that they make so that we can feel like we have a choice and to just keep pointing fingers at each other. Yeah. %50 of the popular vote for HRC were dead people. Yes, they were. A lot of dead people voted for Hillary somehow. They all came back from the dead and voted for Hillary and then died again. It was very, very, very scientifically interesting.
He says it can also be done by changing the Constitution.
Oh, yeah, that's great. Change the Constitution.
All right, reserved. This material... Link. Previous history's headlines. Getting Rick out of link. This link. Disclaimer for
I think that's the end of that story. So,
and search circulars or items.
Shut
search
up.
Text field. You are
okay. So, let's see here. Is that percent data inflated as data wasteland? So if I'm a Democrat, I can resurrect for election day every 4 years. All right, so there was a shooting in Manhattan yesterday. 4 people are dead. Holy Christ. Okay, here we go. The Clintons are necromancers. Yes, I've held that for years. Totally hyperbolic, yeah. I guess that means Jesus was a Dem. Yeah, maybe there was an election that Jesus was resurrected for. Okay. Fuck off with your cookies. I don't think I can read that one because of the stupid cookie pop-up. Sorry about that, guys. So this next one is also a New York story. It's called New York's Cheeky Symbol of Defiance. This, of course, is written by the BBC. Let's see here. There were dead votes. Los Angeles had to drop 1.5 million votes off their rolls. Wow. Because they were dead or not real. That's what I want to tell my children when they ask for a snack. So, let's see here. Here we go.
The city of New York declared eminent domain over a stretch of Greenwich Village. One family dug its heels in and fought back. Link. Share on Facebook. Link. By March 15th, in a city famed for its mighty towers, the symbol of New York City's rebellious nature can in fact be found at street level, outside a cigar shop in Greenwich Village. It's obviously not the Statue of Liberty, but for New Yorkers, it's a beloved and treasured piece of the cityscape, said Andrew Berman, president of the Link. Greenwich Village Society for Historic Preservation.
Of course, there's always a Society for Historic Preservation somewhere in New York.
Period. Quote. For New Yorkers, it's a beloved and treasured piece of the cityscape. In Greenwich Village, the charming brownstone-lined streets don't always comply with the city's uniformed grid system. In fact, 3 roads collide haphazardly outside 110 Avenue South. At first sight, it's an unremarkable New York intersection. Yellow cabs zip past a Starbucks opposite Village Cigars, with the soaring figure of One World Trade Center further south. In a city where eyes are naturally drawn upwards, you would do well to notice a small triangular mosaic set into the pavement just 3 feet in front of the cigar shop. Composed of faded black and white tiles, the triangle measures roughly 2 square ft and reads, "Property of the Hess estate which has never been dedicated for public purposes." A cryptic message that alludes to a story that has come to embody the struggle for personal identity in this area, continued Berman. You are currently on a text element. Link image. The Hess Triangle, a symbol of New York City's defiant nature, can be found outside a cigar shop in Greenwich Village. Credit, Olivier. Bullet, link. The bullet link. Greenwich link. Greenwich Village has always been a little different, progressive, forward-thinking and dynamic, as Berman describes it. By the late 19th century, the neighborhood had become one of the most culturally diverse areas in the city. Standing at this spot in 1910, the view would have been vastly different. 7th Avenue, which today runs the length of Manhattan, ended almost a mile north of Greenwich Village, and without the traffic brought in by the busy thoroughfare, the area felt more sedate and intimate. Where the cryptic triangle now lies stood an apartment block built by Philadelphia native David Hess, who had died 3 years earlier, in 1907.
Okay.
Link. Maps from the late 18th mark the building with the name Vors, as well as its lot number, 55. The early 20th century was a time of dramatic change in New York. The newly opened Penn Station, with its rail tunnel under the Hudson River, brought large numbers of commuters directly into the heart of Manhattan. The decision was taken to extend both 7th Avenue and the subway line that ran beneath it southward in order to improve commuting connections between Lower Manhattan and Midtown, the city's 2 major commercial hubs. Capital A. Link. New York Times article from October 1913 reported that 253 structures would be torn down to accommodate the thoroughfare. One of those slated for destruction was the Vors building.
253 structures. Wow, that's a lot of demolition.
New York City had enacted an eminent domain order, a provision within the Fifth Amendment of the U.S. Constitution, in which the government has the right to take someone's private property for public purposes, such as for the construction of roads or schools. Jonathan Hutton, a lawyer at Goldstein, Ricken and Hutton PC, one of the city's oldest eminent domain firms, explained.
Wow, the city actually has eminent domain firms employed? Wow.
Link image. In the early 20th century, the city of New York enacted an eminent domain order to extend 7th Avenue into Greenwich Village. Credit, Olivia. That should have been angered by what they considered bureaucratic overreach. The Hess family dug its heels in and refused to sell. Over the next few years, the family fought valiantly against the order, but stopping an eminent domain action in New York is extraordinarily difficult, Houghton said, and by 1913 the Hess family had exhausted all legal avenues. The apartment block was demolished shortly after, with the 7th Avenue extension eventually passing directly through where Lot 55 had once stood. You are currently. That should have been the end of the story. That should have been the end of the story. You are currently on. If you peer very closely at. You are link. City maps from 1916. You might just be able to make out a tiny triangular shaped speck that remained of Lot 55. One point often overlooked is that there were many small, irregular-sized lots left over after the destruction, but the Hess Triangle was the smallest, Berman said. The building was of course gone, but a surveying mistake meant that a portion of Lot 55 had survived, and was still legally owned by the Hess estate. What happened next isn't entirely clear. The traditional story goes that upon realizing the mistake, the city requested that the Hess family donate the tiny plot, assuming that such a small piece of land would have no commercial value. But once again the Hess family refused. The case returned to court, but this time the Hess family prevailed over the city of New York, and their legal right to the small triangle was ensured. Link image. The Hess family refused to donate the small piece of land that remained of their plot, instead insisting it never be used for public purposes. Credit, Olivia.
Oh, wow. So they have like... So I'm guessing that this triangle that's left in the sidewalk is this, like, tiny... Nothing says you own your property like the government taking it away. Yeah, I know, right? What, right? I love paying rent on a house I own. Yeah.
However, an article published in link, the Philadelphia Evening Letter on 29 July 1922 contradicts this, reporting that the previous year the city of New York had called upon the Hess estate to pay the accumulated property taxes on the remaining portion of the lot. But Frank Hess, David Hess' son, claimed to be unaware any portion of the lot still remained in his family's name. Quote, the Hess Triangle is emblematic of a little guy taking on City Hall and, in one small way, winning. We do know that on 26 July 1922, the mosaics were installed. Capital A. You link. New York Times article. The next day reported that the triangle had been assessed on the tax books for $100, presumably referring to the property's annual tax bill. After visiting the lot, Frank negotiated a lease deal with a cigar shop that included the requirement that the plot be marked as private property. The Hess Triangle was eventually sold to Village Cigars in 1938 for a lofty $1,000, which, after adjusting for inflation, would equal around $17,500 today, and it has been preserved exactly as it was ever since.
So, almost $20,000 buys you a small triangle in the sidewalk. Isn't that awesome? I enjoy listening at lunchtime. Now back to work. Well, have a great day at work, fishing guy. Thanks for dropping in. So yes, all it costs is 20 grand, and you can have your own triangle on the sidewalk. Apparently. Oh my goodness. PM named special advisor to examine issues at heart of SNC-Lavalin case. Oh, you named a special advisor, did you? Which dick sucker did you get to look after you? Who are you going to try and get to save your ass there, Justin? It's not going to work. All right, here we go.
Ottawa, and McClellan, Prime Minister Justin Trudeau's newly appointed special advisor who is examining some of the machinery of government issues at the heart of the SNC-Lavalin controversy, says the possibility of splitting up the Justice Minister and Attorney General roles requires serious consideration.
Whoa, he wanted to split the roles of the Justice Minister and Attorney General and make them two different appointments? And this woman is like, yes, it does require actual serious consideration. What are you doing, Trudeau? Yes, in New York City. Blind and Chat Gang, have you ever heard of the web bookstore called the Forbidden Bookshelf? No. I have not. Do they give out ebooks, or do they sell actual hard copy books? The triangle is barely large enough to stand in. That's what I was picturing. All you need.
In an exclusive interview with CTV's Power Play, former Liberal Minister and Deputy Prime Minister McClellan said the idea to appoint separate people to hold those roles, so that the Attorney General would be insulated and not sit at the cabinet table, is a complicated matter.
It doesn't seem to matter whether the Justice Minister is the Attorney General, because the last one you had was trying to do her job properly, and you didn't fucking want her to. So what the fuck are you talking about? Why does this need to be changed? Other than so that you and future politicians can get whatever the fuck you want done. That's fucking stupid.
This is not a simple, easy question, and one that will have implications for government going forward, McClellan said.
No shit.
FSK heading level 2. Link. Heading link. Prime Minister Justin Trudeau responds to a question. Link image. Anne McClellan speaks during a news conference. Trudeau announced her new role during the first question period he has attended since Jody Wilson-Raybould testified before the House Justice Committee that she faced high-level veiled threats and political interference in the criminal prosecution of SNC Lavalin when she was Justice Minister and Attorney General. Wilson-Raybould's testimony prompted calls from the opposition for an RCMP investigation and for Trudeau to resign.
There should be an RCMP investigation.
Canadians expect and deserve to have faith in their institutions and the people who serve within them. The events of the last few weeks have raised important questions, Trudeau said in a statement that was sent as he rose in the House to announce the new probe. McClellan is being asked to look into the practice that since Confederation has seen the Justice Minister and Attorney General roles being held by the same person, as well as analyze the operating policies and practices across the cabinet, and the role of public servants and political staff in their interactions with the Minister of Justice and Attorney General.
No, this is not what needs to be done, you fuck. What needs to be done is for you not to be a partisan fuckwit who wants to look the other way while one of the biggest companies in Canada, construction companies in Canada, funded by the government, fucking builds in Libya. Fuck off. This is not an interaction of ministers question. This is not a whether or not the Justice Minister and Attorney General should be the same person question. This is a whether or not you fucked up big time and broke the law question. You need to go. Like, this is like the fucking... Oh, you crazy bastard. Every time I read my head, or the comments in my head, data is screamed. I don't understand. It's like this is like the robber who robs a bank and is asked, well, what are you going to do in order to stop robbing banks? And instead of saying, well, I need to, stop robbing banks and I need to be held accountable, they're like, well, you should increase security, and you should make sure that more than one person holds the combination to the vault, so that if I get there and I get the combination to the vault, somebody else can go and change the combination and maybe stop me from breaking into the vault before I get there. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? Go, just, you ridiculous person. You have no business being a fucking politician, let alone the Prime Minister of this country. If that is your solution to your supreme fuck up and breaking of the law, even if you didn't break the law, severe bending of the law, you are beyond help at this point. You are beyond help. Let's see if this article has anything more to say.
McClellan will consider whether machinery of government or legislative changes may or may not be recommended, the PMO statement said. On CTV's Power Play, McClellan, who once was Justice Minister and Attorney General, said that in her experience the dual role has a nuance that is less confusing for the cabinet minister wearing both hats than it can be for the others in government interacting with that person.
Wait, what?
On CTV's Power Play, McClellan, who once was Justice Minister and Attorney General, said that in her experience the dual role has a nuance that is less confusing for the cabinet minister wearing both hats than it can be for the others in government interacting with that person.
So, are you saying that it's confusing? She's saying that it's confusing to people? that the Justice Minister is also the Attorney General? Are you serious? You're saying that, really, McClellan, you're saying that Trudeau was confused? He was just confused? I don't think I'm that bad. Oh, not me. Phew. PM in name only? Yeah, not it. Shouldn't even be that. Prime Monkey. Yes. Prime Monkey.
We do see the fact that there can be tensions, there can be misunderstandings, misperceptions, and so on, she said. McClellan said she can see the arguments on both sides of the issue and she hopes to consider the experiences of other jurisdictions who have separated the two positions, including in the UK.
Stop trying to go backwards. We don't need to be like the UK, especially right now. Fuck off. Oh my god. Your father, Trudeau, spent his fucking career trying to get us away from Britain. And now you want to... Done. 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 Fuck you. Oh, here's one that's fun that I found myself. Despite Trump's view, white nationalism is a growing threat, data shows. I wonder what these people consider to be white nationalism. Did I break BP again? No, actually, that was a story that I found. So this is a story about how white nationalism is on the rise in the States, apparently. Written by Matt Kwong for CBC News.
Jeff Schoep of the National Socialist Movement, one of the largest white nationalist groups in the U.S., speaks during a rally in Little Rock, ARK, on November 10, 2018, Jim Market/Reuters.
Yeah, because Little Rock, Arkansas is such a booming place. It's so happening and so populated. That must be the epicenter of white nationalism.
The phone call included condolences, a pledge of solidarity, and a question from Link, the U.S. President. Period. New Zealand Prime Minister Jacinda Ardern's nation was still aching with grief after a white nationalist gunman, Link, killed 50 people at two mosques in Christchurch. As she spoke on Friday with U.S. President Donald Trump, her American counterpart asked what he could offer. Ardern reportedly, "You are currently on a text link," answered. "Sympathy and love for all Muslim communities." Trump acknowledged that and agreed, she told reporters, but if the two national leaders sounded like they shared a common understanding, it appears to have been fleeting. "You are currently on..." The U.S. President, tweeting about the call. The U.S. President, tweeting about the call, made no mention of Ardern's plea. Instead, on the morning after their chat, Link, Trump defended Fox News personality Jeanine Pirro, whose recent on-air remarks were deemed to be so bigoted against Muslims that the network reportedly suspended her.
They were not bigoted against Muslims. I heard those remarks. Little Rock is the home of the two biggest racists I know of. Yep. Haha, you cannot blame me for once. That's shocking. Yeah, Janine Pirro's remarks were not bigoted against Muslims. She was just asking how feminists can support a religion, an ideology mostly, that supports female genital mutilation and the fact that women should cover up so that men won't rape them.
The same day as the phone call, the president rejected the idea that white nationalism was a rising worldwide threat, downplaying it as a problem concerning a small group of people. Civil liberties researchers disagreed with that characterization, pointing to the far-reaching references in the accused gunman's 73-page manifesto, which mentioned everything from Trump as a symbol of renewed white identity to popular internet memes and Norwegian massacre gunman. You are link, period.
I'm not letting his name come out.
Asked on Saturday whether she agreed with Trump's assessment tamping down concerns about violent white nationalism, New Zealand's leader gave an unequivocal no. The data takes her side.
Okay, so you're going to point to a meme, a walking meme's stupid manifesto as proof that white nationalism is on the rise. Look, you're doing everything that he wants you to. Good job. Well done. Well done. Are you happy with yourselves? That's funny. 73 pages. They deleted 14 pages. Talk about a control narrative, and what I learned is called memory holing. Oh, that's what memory holing is, Pink Hollow. Oh. I see.
New Zealand Prime Minister Jacinda Ardern speaks at a press conference in Wellington, NZ, according to the link, Anti-Defamation League. 98% of extremist killings in the US last year were tied to far-right extremists. Europol's annual.
98. Where did you get that statistic from? Where did you get the title, the statistic 98% of extremist killings were from far-right extremists in the States? The tragedy happened, therefore Islam is a protected class. Now fuck right off with this nonsense, says Straight Sith Mail. Well, it's not even that. It's like, where the fuck did this data, where did they get these ridiculous numbers?
Link, EU terrorism situation and trend report. Last year found a near doubling in the number of people arrested for right-wing extremist offenses in 2017.
Right-wing extremist offenses or right-wing extremist tweets that you decided were right-wing and extremist? $19.84 the book. Yep. Memory hole was in 1984. It's where all the truth went to be destroyed. That's where that term came from. I was wondering where that term came from. I'm surprised I don't remember that. I read that book. I hated that book so much. I was so angry when I finished it. I think you were supposed to be angry when you finished it, though.
And data from the nonpartisan link, Center for the Study of Hate and Extremism.
Oh, that sounds like a very nonpartisan center.
At California State University San Bernardino says that hate crimes in America's largest cities rose for the link, 5th consecutive year.
Hate crimes, yes, but how can you say that they are all far right-wing extremists, right? Hate, like, so all the shit that Antifa's been doing is not extreme. All the shit, like all of the proven hate crime hoaxes that were done by the left, that doesn't count for anything. It's good to read now. says irate prostate. I haven't seen the movie.
In 2018, in the U.S., far-right extremism has eclipsed violent Salafi jihadists, said the center's director, Brian Levin. The difference is white nationalism has emerged into a coalesced and growing socio-political force, with tentacles that extend into the mainstream. That's something many other extremist movements do not have.
Bullshit. Bullshit. Where have you been living? Where have you been living? What are you talking about? This is fucking insane. Where has this author been hiding? Oh, right, with their head in the sand. That's right. That's right.
Republican Congressman Steve King, for example, has openly mused that being labeled a link white nationalist shouldn't be such a bad thing. Levin testified before Congress 4 years ago about the extremist threat. At the time, he said Salafi jihadists represented the most prominent threat to the U.S., with far-right white nationalists coming second. That has flipped, he said on Monday.
I'm sure it has.
U.S. President Donald Trump participates in a briefing on drug trafficking on the southern border at the White House on March 13. 49 out of 50 link. 49 out of 50 extremist-related killings in the U.S. link. Last year were tied to white nationalists. One incident, a stabbing by a troubled Florida teen, involved the teen shouting about jihadist leanings, though the alleged perpetrator was also a former white supremacist.
What are you? Oh my God. Okay. My brain, my mouth is moving, but I can't word. I'm serious. I am lost for words. Their ass is not sand. That's true, Johnny. I can hear the glitching through BP's, or I can hear the kvetching through BP's screen reader. Hi, Krill. Oh, man.
All of which is to say that Trump, whose apparent concerns about Islam prompted his call in 2015 for a link database to register Muslims, and efforts to implement a link travel ban, is mistaken about the growing danger of worldwide white nationalist extremism, Levin said.
No. No, it's not. And that was not his travel ban. That was Obama's travel ban that he just implemented. Well, broken and speechless, Pink Ella will be pleased. Oh.
Levin cites FBI statistics that show the spike in hate crimes after link the 2015 attack in San Bernardino, and a further spike beyond that after candidate Trump's proposal for a Muslim ban. Levin contrasts that with former President George W. Bush's speech 6 days after the September 11, 2001, attacks on the U.S., when Bush declared, "Islam is peace" at Washington's Islamic Center. The number of anti-Muslim hate crimes dropped by 2/3 the day after the president's tolerance address, Levin's link research shows the number incidents declined another 2/3. Link by the next year. Period. Link by the next year. Period. Leaders have an important place in society for not just modeling behavior, Levin said, but in promoting or rebutting the negative stereotypes that fuel attacks.
So you're saying that whatever far-right attacks that are happening are Trump's fault, and now you're going to inflate the numbers to say that 49 out of the 50 attacks that have happened in the States are right-leaning or right-wing extremists, when that's been demonstrably false. I'm closing this article. I can't just sit here with dead air while my mouth goes flap, 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 flap. Wow. Apparently, George Bush said that Islam is peace. I don't remember him saying that. I don't remember that part of his address. Yeah, X'd it out. Yeah. Everyone who's not Stalin is a Nazi, didn't you know? Said Jolly Rogers Bilgewater. Oh, hey, buddy. Nice to see you here. He did not say that at all, says Gun Fox. Yeah, I believe that. All right. Here's a story that I found. It's our no shit Sherlock story for the day. Are we ready for our no shit Sherlock story of the day? Okay, here we go. Reading is a lifeline for blind people, according to new research. Did you know that? Blind people should read just like everybody else. According to new research, we should make blind people literate. Isn't that amazing? Yeah, I remember him saying, you were either with us or against us with the terrorists. Yeah. Oh, come on, load, you stupid thing. All right, well, I'm waiting for that stupid thing to load. Please consider liking and sharing the stream if you haven't already, and checking out the Streamlabs link in the description, streamlabs.com/blindpress. All right, let's see if this is loaded. Yes, it has. Okay, here we go.
New research published today, October 18, 2012, reveals that reading plays a vital role in the lives of blind and partially sighted people, helping them to overcome daily challenges, boosting mental well-being, enabling them to develop learning and skills, and providing opportunities for social contact through reading groups. This research is published on the eve of.
Okay, so this is an very old article, but I still thought it was funny to hear that in anything in the years of the 2000s, that we've had a universal system of writing and reading in place for blind people since the beginning of the 1800s that was made by a blind person. And in 2012, you guys are just doing research now that says that reading is good for blind people's development? Are you serious? Have a good nap, Gunny. If only there was some form of writing so blind folks could read, says Johnny Hellcat. I know, right? Someone should come up with something like that.
Link. Read for RNIB. Link. The charities appeal to raise funds for services such as Braille, giant print, and talking books.
Giant print? It's called large print, you Now I'm picturing like football-sized lettering, like football field-sized lettering. Can you read this? Oh my god. Bush also said the Constitution is just a piece of paper. Yeah, he did. A side note, I thought the movie Book of Eli was great. It was all right. It's kind of slow moving. Um don't try to read a golf ball. No one said Bush was a smart man. No, nobody did. And anyone who does needs their head examined.
I believe I would go insane without reading for pleasure. I really do. It's that important. One survey participant told researchers, Sarah, aged 50, 64 years, England. According to this new research into the impact of reading for pleasure on the lives of blind and partially sighted adults, 82% of the people said that reading for pleasure was very important in their lives, whilst 95% read for pleasure more than once a week, with over half, 55%, reading more than 10 hours per week, figures which appear to be considerably higher than the general population. You are currently on a test
because we appreciate the fact that we can, when we get a book, we fucking appreciate the hell out of it, because our books cost about 10 times more than your guys' books do, because they are bigger, because the paper costs more. It costs more time to scan it in, make sure that the books were scanned properly so that there aren't any errors. Then you got to print the book. Then you've got to assemble the book. And you got to make sure that the book is not assembled wrong. So you have to have some form of ability to read Braille, at least cursorily. He did come up with the word strategery. He came up with a lot of words. Misunderestimation. Yep. I used Microsoft Magnifier at 300%. Okay. But seriously, we like blind people had like, I hate walking into bookstores. Seriously. And they wear down on like print books. Yeah. They do. They do wear down. And that's why a lot of blind people like talking books. Especially those who have lost their sight later on in life, because it is a lot harder to learn Braille as an adult than it is if you've got no other choice as a child but to learn Braille. So, like, I hate walking into libraries and bookstores because I am surrounded by books I can't read. Because I love reading. I've read all of my Braille books so much that they're starting to fall apart. And that means the papers will fly everywhere if I try and read them. Some of them are worn down. So I'm getting more into the Audible stuff right now, but there's still some books that, like, there's still books that I would really like to have in Braille. Like, I'd like to have a copy of The Hobbit. I don't have a copy of The Hobbit in Braille. I have The Fellowship of the Ring, but I don't have The Two Towers or Return of the King because it was just too expensive. So, any home remedies for cataracts out there? No. I don't think so. Weed helps glaucoma. I don't know if it'll help cataracts, but I know it helps glaucoma.
The research was commissioned by leading sight loss charity The Link, Royal National Institute of Blind People, RNIB, to Mark Reed for RNIB Bay and conducted by the Reading Agency, the charity working to inspire more people to read more, and Link, LISU, Research and Information Center at Loughborough University. Its full findings are published in a report entitled Link, Assessing the Impact of Reading for Blind and Partially Sighted Adults. Please see notes to editors for more information.
So that was our article in No Shit Sherlock News. That was, yeah, kind of crazy. Ginseng on your eyes, you'll feel well. Weed helps everything, says Chadwick. It really does. Weed helps dealing with stupid, too. You're right, Zombie Teddy. There's surgery for cataracts. Yeah, look in to see if it's covered for you. MSS News. Oh, NSS News. I thought you said MSS News. I'm like, why do you want me to go steal from Monkey and Scribe and Satsu's news? My mistake. Okay. So, let's see. Let's see here. Are we ready for a Darwin Award? Boy, 16, dies after being shot in the head while playing with gun. Darwin Award. No shit Sherlock News. Yep. Books make you smarter, period, dot. Yep. I changed my diet a year ago and have been getting back fast. But read something that riboflavin prevents them, and I have eliminated them from. And milk was something I eliminated from my diet. Ah. GPP gets their news from the Lords of the Night hashtag. Oh. Yes, I did. I did, Jolly Rogers build water. Yes, 16-year-old boy with gun. Let's read this. Let's read this. Here we go.
Police believe the shooting was an accident. Image. Fuck police. End of. Get the biggest daily edit link.
Oh, fucking links.
You are currently.
There we go. Okay.
A teenage boy was killed when he was shot in the head while playing with a loaded gun.
Okay, you're 16. You should know better than to play with a loaded gun. Come on.
It has been reported. The tragic incident took place in Spring, an area of northwest Houston, at 1 a.m. on Tuesday morning. Harris County Sheriff's Office say two teenage boys, both age 16, were playing at a home when the gun went off.
I love how they're trying to make this sound like it was two 4-year-olds playing. A 16-year-old playing with a gun. No, he killed himself. Yeah, he either suicided or they were trying to do some stupid fucking YouTube video thing. Because I love how they're sitting there saying these two 16-year-old boys were playing at a home. First of all, you're not playing at a home at 1 a.m. Second of all, two 16-year-old boys, that's not the language you use. The two 16-year-olds were hanging out together. They were they were playing video games together. That's what I hear when I hear playing. I don't like the language this article is using is trying to make these kids out sound like they were toddlers. That I knew better than to play with loaded guns at 8. Yeah. Blind, where you been? These kids are getting dumber by the day. Well, I've been raising 2 intelligent kids. That's what I've been doing. That happened on Joe Kenda. Oh, that investigation discovery guy? There were PSA ads when we were kids that had this exact same scenario. Maybe they should start running them again. Yeah, maybe.
The injured boy was then rushed to hospital but later died from his injuries. Homicide detectives are now investigating the incident, which is initially thought to be accidental. You are currently on officers at the scene in northwestern Houston. Image. Officers at the scene in northwest end of complimentary. Heading level 5 end of. It is unclear if the boys were being supervised at home when the tragedy occurred.
Why are you using this language? It is unclear if the boys were being supervised at home during the incident. They're 16. They're not 5. They're 16. Why are you using this fucking language? Of course they were more than likely not supervised. They're 16, and you generally have the idea that when you're 16, you know better than to play with a fucking loaded gun. I went to school with somebody that played Russian roulette with a Glock 9mm. Obviously, it didn't end well. I knew better because at 8 was when I was given my first gun. Shot my first year at 9. Learn young, learn right. Yes. Yes, Jolly Rudders Bilgewater. Exactly. I went to a party where a kid played Russian roulette and died. It was a crazy party that ended abruptly when a firearm in a closed room was discharged. Yeah. Well, apparently this guy knows we don't become adults until we become in our 30s, apparently.
Earlier this year, a 6-year-old girl was accidentally shot dead by her 12-year-old brother. You are Blink, while their parents were at a Christmas party.
Okay, that one, no. Who leaves a 12-year-old alone with a 6-year-old and doesn't make sure that the weapons are put away? That is not the same scenario as 2 16-year-olds fucking around. No. Let's lower the voting age to 16. These are the people we need running the country. Yeah, you know shit, Pincalo.
Earlier this year, Blink. Police arrived at the scene at 11 p.m. on Friday evening, but the young girl, identified as Melidia Palmer, tragically died in hospital, it is reported. She had been left at her Missouri family home with her older brother and 16-year-old sister.
So what the fuck was the 16-year-old sister doing? That she wasn't paying attention to the 12-year-old and 6-year-old, and the 12-year-old got access to the damn gun.
Link. Yahoo reports. Advertisement. Third. Police in Houston responded to the call. Image. Getty loading. Police in Houston. End of. But the brother allegedly found a 9mm handgun in one of his parents' drawers before the tragic accident occurred.
This is why you fucking lock your guns up, people. I'm all for owning guns and stuff, but don't leave them laying around in your nightstand when you have 3 children. Because children are nosy. No matter how much you tell them to stay the fuck out of your shit, they are never staying the fuck out of your shit. 9mm, okay.
He accidentally shot his little sister in the head, it was reported. A police chief said, "You couldn't have written a more tragic script. The whole thing is just so tragic and terrible, but we have to put our personal feelings aside and do the law enforcement side of this." Heading level 4. Read more. Heading link. Follow us on Twitter.
No, so I'm sorry. Those are two very different situations. Oh, I know. The 16-year-old was in the bathroom taking Snapchat photos for her 30-year-old boyfriend, Romeo. Oh, fuck. Oh, Pink Hollow. Oh, damn. Damn, Pink Hollow. Oh, my. Oh, my. Let's see here. What's the next story? Ooh, a titular article. U.S. military wants 225 million pounds to start testing satellite lasers and particle beams. So this is a BBC article. There we go. Where is it? Okay. Okay, here we go.
While the weapons are currently planned for us in missile defense, their potential applications are limitless. You are end of one. A study to see if this is feasible should wrap up within 6 months, but only takes up $15 million, 11 million pounds, of the total budget. Much of the rest of the cash is going to a project to develop space-based particle beam weapons. While lasers fire high-energy light at targets, particle beam weapons would accelerate a stream of subatomic particles to ludicrously high speeds and direct them at the target. While each particle only has a tiny mass, enough of them moving fast enough would be able to impart a serious amount of energy in a very short space of time. You are currently on a current ship-mounted laser weapons are much too big and bulky to be blasted into space. Figure.
Why would you blast lasers into space?
Link AFP. Visited. Link. Current ship-mounted laser weapons are much too big and bulky to be blasted into space. End of. The U.S. first tested particle beam weapons in the late. The U.S. first tested particle beam weapons in the late 1980s to some success, but the designs for a functional weapon were huge, with some reportedly over 70 feet long. We now believe we can get it down to a package that we can put on as part of a payload to be placed on orbit, according to a senior U.S. military official quoted by Defense One.
So they want to put laser satellites in orbit so that they can fire lasers at the ground? 25 is when the brain and nervous system is fully developed. Space Force. Hashtag Moonbase. They've been working on the particle beam weapon since the 60s. It used to be called a conspiracy theory. Yeah, not anymore. Okay, I've said it before to myself, but I'm going to say it out loud now. People need to stop bringing sci-fi movies to life. Yeah. Pinkala, you're right. Chadwick says, it sounds like they're preparing for something. Yeah.
The idea is that such weapons could be used to take out missiles very shortly after they launch, when they're blasting up from their launch pads into the atmosphere.
So you want laser satellites that you can shoot back towards the ground and dispatch missiles. Why do I have Star Wars music playing in my head? The Death Star funding turned out to be way too much money. That's why the project was killed. Not because the weapons were too weak, yeah. Flip phones came from Star Trek. That's true.
The current plan has such weapons being ready for testing in 2023. Some worry that if the US developed and deployed these sorts of weapons, it would push the likes of Russia and China into developing both missiles that would be resistant to the technology and weapons to take down the satellite weapons. You are correct.
Well, yeah, this would bring about a new type of arms race, for sure.
Heading level 3. Link. Revealed. Heading level 3. Link. iPhone battery life tips to booster link. Booster iPhone battery link. Call of Duty heading level. Call brains link.
No, that's the end of that story. Sorry, guys. Didn't mean to have link going through your ear. So yeah, that would create an interesting space race for sure. We already have railguns and directed energy weapons, yeah. You have Star Wars music playing in your head because the name of the project in the 80s was called the Star Wars Project. That's true. Directed energy by pulse lasers. Yeah. So, guys, those were all of the news articles I had for you guys today. Oh, no, I have one more. Pope nixes French cardinal resignation after cover-up. This is the one that I found from that Scribe had quoted. Here we go. This is from the AP, the Associated Press.
Vatican City, AP, Pope Francis has declined to accept the resignation of French Cardinal Philippe Barbarin as Archbishop of Lyon after he was convicted of failing to report a known predator priest to police, the Vatican said Tuesday.
So this conspirator tried to resign his post and the Pope wouldn't let him.
Barbarin had traveled to the Vatican on Monday to present his resignation following the March 7th verdict and 6-month suspended sentence he received. The Vatican spokesman, Alessandro Giussati, said Tuesday that during the audience, Francis didn't accept the resignation and instead asked Barbarin to do what he thinks is best for the archdiocese. Barbarin has decided to take time away and has asked his deputy in Lyon, the Reverend Yves Baumgarten, to assume leadership of the archdiocese, Giussati said.
Wait, okay. The Pope asked him to do what he thought was best, but clearly what he thought was best was to resign. So why would you not accept that? That makes no fucking sense to me. He's saying, I fucked up. I should have reported it. I've been convicted. Here, have my resignation. Pope's like, no, you do what you think is best, though. What the? Oh my God. Why are Catholics so fucking crazy? Seriously, why are Catholics so crazy?
Third-party ad. The Holy See repeats its closeness to victims of abuse, to the faithful of the Archdiocese of Lyon and the French Church who are living in a particularly difficult moment, Giussati said. The French court found that Barberin had an obligation to report the Reverend Bernard Crainet to civil authorities when he learned of his abuse. Crainet, who is scheduled to be tried on sexual violence charges next year, confessed to abusing Boy Scouts in the 1970s and 1980s. His victims accused Barberin and other church authorities of covering up for him for years. Barberin has appealed the conviction, which could have influenced Francis' decision to not immediately accept his resignation. Francis has been loath to take such measures lest they influence the outcome of trials. Last year, Francis reluctantly accepted the resignation of one of his key supporters, Washington Cardinal Donald Wuerl, after he was implicated in cover-ups from decades ago. You are currently on a text.
So this guy is... Francis is like the softest pope ever. He's got people owning, like, well, I wouldn't say necessarily owning up to it, but at least trying to resign and get the fuck out of the church. And he's like either reluctantly accepting it or flat out like, no, you stay here. You've covered up abuse, and you've allowed children to be abused, and you've covered for these motherfucking sick bastards. But no, you know what? It's fine. The Pope is telling him there's no leaving the family. Inserts mob-sounding voice, says Pincalo. Yeah. Blind Press, the Catholics are crazy because you don't need sanity when you got God, says Zombie Teddy. Yeah. Fat Tony voice, there's only one way out of the family. You must have the strength. Yeah. Yep.
The cases were revealed by a Pennsylvania grand jury report. Wuerl was never criminally charged, but he determined he could no longer effectively lead the archdiocese after he lost the trust of the flock and some of his priests. Francis also accepted the resignation last year of Philip Wilson, Archbishop of Adelaide, Australia, after he was convicted of covering up abuse. Wilson's conviction was reversed on appeal, but he had already been replaced. His future status is unclear. Play. False link image. Paid for by South African link. Watch why South Africa link for compliment third party trending on link.
So that's the end of that story. So Pope Francis is a fucking soft crap pope who I wouldn't be surprised if he had been doing some diddling. From his reaction to people who have covered up for the diddlers were trying to resign, I really wouldn't be surprised if he had done his diddler. Yeah, I think that's ridiculous. If somebody's trying to resign because they've done that badly and they've fucked up, you should probably let them go. I'm pretty sure that's a requirement to become a priest. Either do it yourself or keep your mouth shut. Yeah. Unfortunately, you're probably right. Well, guys, that now is all of the articles I have for you. So the next 4 to 5 minutes are your time, chat time. If you've got anything you want to say, now is your time. Remember, tomorrow is Wednesday, so that's Wednesdays with Skep. And I really do hope everyone's enjoying this format and this new time slot. I am definitely. It's a lot less stressful for me to worry about getting Alex to school and then jumping into the stream mindset. So it's a lot better. Francis was great at first, but it turns out he is a commie and has done nothing for the sex abuse. Yep. So I'm still looking for a guest for Friday at noon. So let's I'll let you know what I've come up with. Shit, I thought today was Wednesday. Nope, today's Tuesday. That's tomorrow. Celibacy leads to diddling. It unfortunately seems to. So yeah. So tomorrow will be Wednesdays with Skep, again at noon Eastern, 11 Central. I hope everyone will come and listen and enjoy yourselves. I will let you know as soon as I have a guest picked out for Friday. Let's see. What else is in here for chat? I have no idea what that's supposed to say. I like your new stream time. You and P Dog Night would stream at the same time, and it was hard to bounce between the two. Yeah. Did you hear the story that the Pope is selling his Lamborghini? No. It's written into the holy document. You must play hide the pedophile every 5 years. Yeah. It seems to be. So guys, share, like and share the stream out. Share the channel out to your friends. Let's see if we can get past 350. I'm really appreciative of everybody's subscribing, liking, sharing. You guys are fucking amazing for doing all of that. The fact that you guys, or the fact that people like come and listen to me, it's just amazing. You know, the fact that people want to, you know, like, you know, come and share the stream with their friends, and you know, it's awesome. I love it, and you guys are absolutely amazing. I hope everyone has a great day. Come and join Skep Talk and I tomorrow. And I hope everyone has an amazing day. We'll see everyone later. Talk to you tomorrow. Bye, guys.